Hi guys, welcome to Gardening with Stacy. I'm just jumping on here doing the first video after my introduction of a series that I'm going to start from seed to fruit with a couple of tomato and pepper plants. That way everyone can just get a good idea of how we start, how we grow them in the house or wherever you're going to be seed starting your plants, and then when we get them out into the garden, and just how we continually take care of them and watch the progress as well. Kind of just a visual of how the plants are growing. So I have a bowl right here that I do put my seed starting mix in. I went ahead and filled it so you don't have to watch me fill it, but the soil that I am using is Jiffy Natural Organic Seed Starting Mix. I've used this before and I really like it. So we would just fill this bowl, so you just, you could either dump it or use your hand, however you like to do that, and either one of those will be fine. So I also, the reason why I use a bowl instead of just going right from the bag of seed starting mix right to here is I like to add some water. I like to make sure that the soil that I'm using is really moist. So I'll dump some water in, and I'll take this, and this is fertilizer. And the fertilizer that I like to use is Neptune's Harvest Tomato and Veg, which is a 242. So it's a really pretty natural fertilizer. It has the fish, it's like a fish fertilizer. It does stink, so just beware that it doesn't smell the greatest. So I'll just put a couple of these in the soil. Alright. And I've used this now for a couple years, and my tomatoes and peppers just really do really well. And that's why I use it. I use it inside with my seed starts, even as a fertilizer, while they're growing in the house. So just take your hands in your soil, mix it up. You can feel the texture of the soil. You can feel if it's moist, and it was pretty moist before I added all of that anyway. Your seed starting mix should not be dry. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just focus on one of these 6 packs. So we're gonna fill one of them, but if I was doing this just without videoing it, I would fill my whole tray full. Get all of these trays filled with soil at one time. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do this one right here. And as you can see, I already did one. And when you're putting the soil in, you don't want to pack it down. You want it to be loose. Make sure you're getting it really full, because as you're watering it, as the seeds are germinating and sprouting, the soil is going to go down quite a bit sometimes. So I like to make sure when I'm initially filling these up that I am getting them really full. Alright, so your hands will get dirty when you do that. So I'm going to take this and peppers and tomatoes. Both of them are pretty similar. We like to plant them about 1/4 of an inch deep. So because I do this quite often, I have this and I already have different sets of seeds marked. So for the peppers and the tomatoes, it's going to be that very first line. So I already know that. So I'm going to find the center of the cell, the seed cell, and I'm going to go ahead and just get a little hole right there to that level, and that way when I get the seed, and you can kind of feel if the soil was a little bit clumped or don't make that hole right there. So but you definitely don't want to plant them deep. In my experience, they don't germinate very well. It's just more soil that they have to break through to germinate, and more likely that they could get like drowned out by the water. But I had the closer I can get to keeping it at 1/4 of an inch deep, the more success that I have. So now we're gonna get our seeds, and these are gonna be the Mucho Nacho jalapeno seeds, and I'm gonna do 6. So I got 6 in here. My goal is to have 3 in the garden, so I'm gonna plant double just to make sure that I get what I want. So I'm just gonna drop these in those holes that I made. And I do the exact same thing for my tomatoes. So this is pretty identical to what I do for my tomatoes. So now I'm just gonna take my finger and lightly cover these up with the soil. You could use this if you wanted. I could show you. Just take that and lightly cover those up. But I like to just use my finger. I don't usually use that. So, and again, you want the soil to be pretty loose. So now that I've done that, I'm just gonna take, this is just regular water, and I'm gonna go ahead and get those watered because we want to get the seed wet. Our seed will not germinate unless it gets wet. So it cannot become the pepper plant until it germinates. And it needs water. So do that. And I've found that just getting the soil, this soil, adding water to that before I put it in here, it's helped my seed germination process go a little faster, not take quite as long as it has in the past. So peppers typically will germinate anywhere between 10 and 21 days. I have also found that like when I grow my reapers, or we've done ghost peppers, we've done really hot varieties, that those definitely take all the way to the 3-week mark, sometimes even longer. So don't get discouraged if you're trying to grow a really spicy pepper and in 3 weeks you don't see any germination. I've just found that we've got to be patient, and peppers need longer. Tomatoes typically I find germinate within like 5 days, but it can be 5 to 10 days. So once I get all of these filled and get all my seeds in, this is just a humidity dome. So I would place this on top of it, and it's going to help just keep the soil nice and moist, so that way that seed just stays saturated and germinates. As you saw me do right then, I did top water the soil. I will, after a day or two, I will lift up one of the trays and I will add water to the bottom. So if we look under here on our trays, we can see that there's slits on the bottom. So if from the top there's too much water, the water will drain out of that. But also if you water from the bottom, it will soak into the soil from the bottom as well. So I do a little bit of both, but the key is just really being aware of what's going on with your seeds. So you want to pay attention. You don't want them drying out. You might need to water every day. It might be every other day. It might be every 3rd day. It kind of just depends on the climate that you have the seed trays in. So I can't give you exactly what that's going to be. It can be different for me every time. But you don't want to oversaturate them as well, because that can cause just your germination to decline rapidly as well. So I have found that there's been a couple times where they just like the seeds got super soaked and my germination rate was not very, very good. So just kind of finding that happy balance is going to be the best thing for you. Again, depending on where you have your grow trays, where you're set up, it's going to look different. your temperature outside, your temperature in your house. Right now our house is where I have these, it's set at 75. And then I will have this on until they germinate. Once the tomatoes do germinate, anything that germinates will move. You know, we don't keep them in this, but that will be for another video. So as we go forward, we're gonna get to watch the seeds germinate, the process of them growing, getting their third leaf, when we transplant them into other containers, and then, you know, how I fertilize while they're in the house, and then when we get to take them outside and even weather them off, and then get them in the ground, and then when they're starting to produce their fruit. But I'll go into that in another video, and even go through the different types of seed that we planted, so that way you guys can, hopefully if you're planting some of the same stuff, this will give you a visual of what's going on. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, and then the one other thing that is really important to do is label your seeds, so you know what you're planting. You don't forget. With all of these seeds, I would never remember what type of seed. So we did all 6 of these cells. We did with the Mucho Nacho. So I'm just going to place that right there. I hope you guys enjoy this video. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Let me know, or any feedback, any tips and tricks that you guys have. But I will see you guys next time. Have a good day.